All right, let's get into it. We're not just talking about another cryptocurrency here. Nope, this is a story about huge ambition, a crisis that almost destroyed everything, and a completely new way of thinking about the internet. This is the story of Ethereum.
And really, that's the heart of it. This amazing, kind of wild vision for a decentralized world, well, it didn't just pop into existence. It had to be fought for. It had to be broken and then rebuilt stronger than it was before. And every great story has a dreamer at its center. In this case, it was a 19-year-old prodigy who looked at the blockchain and saw, well, he saw its incredible potential, but he also saw its biggest limitations. So, Vitalik Buterin looked at Bitcoin and basically saw a calculator. It was brilliant at doing one thing, sending value. But he imagined something more, like a smartphone. A platform where anyone, anywhere, could build and run their own apps without needing some central company to approve it. A true world computer.
And even the name he chose kind of shows you how big he was thinking. Ether was this old science idea, right? This invisible stuff that was everywhere and made everything else possible. That's what he wanted Ethereum to be for this new digital world.
But here's the thing. Before they could even really start building this world computer, a battle for its very soul broke out right inside the founding team.
So you had this massive clash of ideas. On one side, you've got co-founder Charles Hoskinson. He wanted to build a for-profit company, like a crypto Google, fueled by venture capital. But on the other side, Vitalik was insistent. He said, no, this has to be a non-profit foundation, a neutral public good, kind of like the internet itself.
In the end, Vitalik's vision won. Hoskinson was out, and the Ethereum Foundation was created as a non-profit. And that one decision, right at the beginning, set the course for everything. It made sure the platform would be there for its community, not for shareholders. A huge step towards building a fairer internet for everybody.
Okay, so with that settled, Ethereum launched. And for a little while, it was this amazing new frontier of innovation. But then came the project's first massive test, a crisis that really threatened to bring the whole thing down.
It was called the DAO. It stood for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. Just think of it like a venture capital fund that was run completely by code and by votes from the community. It was, by far, the most ambitious thing anyone had tried to build on Ethereum.
And the hype? Oh man, the hype was unreal. It raised $150 million. Now get this, at the time, that was 14% of the entire supply of Ether. The stakes just could not have been higher.
And then, the disaster happened. An attacker found a tiny vulnerability, just a small flaw in the smart contract code, and started siphoning millions and millions of dollars out of the DAO, minute by agonizing minute.
All in all, 3.6 million Ether, worth about $60 million back then, was being drained away. The entire community could only watch, totally helpless, as this heist was happening in real time right on the blockchain.
And this whole catastrophe forced this young community to face a really hard question about what it believed in. The whole point of a blockchain was that its history couldn't be changed, right? That the rules were unbreakable. The saying was, code is law. So what do you do when the law is being used to steal everything?
They were stuck with an impossible choice. On one side, they could do nothing. Just let the hacker keep the money, to prove that the blockchain is unchangeable. On the other side, they could step in, do something called a hard fork, which is like a system update so big it basically creates a new version of history to give the money back. But doing that would mean breaking their own #1 rule.
At the end of the day, survival won out. The majority of the community voted to intervene. But this decision was so controversial, it literally split the community and the blockchain in two. The new chain, where the money was returned, is what we know as Ethereum today. The original, untouched chain, where the hacker got to keep the cash, is still around as Ethereum Classic.
So, Ethereum survived. But this whole trial by fire, it wasn't the end of the story, it was actually the beginning. It created this identity of resilience, this ability to evolve not in spite of crises, but because of them.
And you see this pattern play out over and over again. The DAO fork in 2016 was all about survival. Then, years later, you have the merge in 2022, which was this huge upgrade for sustainability. And just recently, in 2024, the Dencun upgrade is all about getting to a massive scale, making it cheaper for everyone to use.
And this quote just perfectly captures how audacious these upgrades are. The merge, which switched the whole network over to a much more efficient system, someone described it as changing an airplane's engine right in mid-flight.
I mean, just an incredibly complex, risky thing to do on a live network worth billions of dollars.
And the result of that risky maneuver? By ditching energy-guzzling mining, the merge cut Ethereum's energy use by over 99.9%. It was a massive feat of engineering that basically answered one of the biggest criticisms of blockchain tech and really secured its future.
So you might be asking, how does a decentralized network like this pull off these incredible, complicated changes? Well, the answer is in this really unique, kind of counterintuitive philosophy that guides the whole project.
See, instead of trying to grab more control and more influence like a normal company would, the Ethereum Foundation's whole guiding principle is about actively removing itself from the center of things.
They actually call this philosophy subtraction. The Foundation believes its job isn't to run the show, but to empower everyone else to build on it. Its success is measured by how little the network eventually needs it. And for you as a user, this is huge. It means no single company can control your data or change the rules on you. It's a choice to keep the world computer truly neutral and owned by all of us. And this all brings us to the main idea. Ethereum isn't just tough, it's what you'd call anti-fragile. It doesn't just survive shocks like the DAO hack, it actually learns from them, adapts, and comes out stronger on the other side. This ability to be forged in crisis, that's its most powerful feature.
Which really just leaves us with one final thought to chew on. If you have a global, decentralized computer, owned by no one, that is designed to get stronger from every single challenge it faces, what are the limits? What can't it become?